Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Before his death, Conway Twitty admitted the truth about Loretta Lynn. After 30 years of rumors for decades, country music fans have whispered about the undeniable chemistry between Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn. Their voices blended like old whiskey and honey, their smiles on stage spoke louder than any lyric, and together they became one of the most beloved duos in country music history. Yet behind the laughter, the duets, and the hit songs, a storm of rumors swirled, whispers that their friendship was something far deeper than either would admit. Before his death, Conway Twitty finally set the record straight in a rare confession that stunned the country world and changed how fans saw their legendary partnership forever. Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn's story began in the early 1970s, when two of country music's brightest stars crossed paths at the height of their fame. Loretta was already the coal miner's daughter, a fierce and fearless woman whose songs about love, heartbreak, and resilience made her a pioneer for female artists. Conway, the smooth-voiced crooner from Arkansas, was the epitome of Southern charm. When they recorded their first duet, After the Fire Is Gone, something magical happened. The song wasn't just a hit, it was an explosion. It won them a Grammy, topped the country charts, and left audiences wondering, were they singing about a story they lived themselves? Both Conway and Loretta always insisted their relationship was purely platonic, a bond built on respect, admiration, and shared passion for music. But audiences saw something different. When they sang together, their eyes locked in ways that couldn't be rehearsed. When Conway smiled at her during performances, Loretta blushed like a woman in love. Fans weren't the only ones to notice, so did their spouses, and so did Nashville's tight-lipped community of insiders who knew how to keep secrets. Through the years, Conway and Loretta became inseparable professionally. They recorded 11 albums together, creating timeless hits like Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man, and Lead Me On. Each song seemed to tell a story that echoed their unspoken connection. Their chemistry was electric, effortless, and emotional, something neither of them could replicate with anyone else. But as the duets kept coming, so did the whispers. Were they just friends, or were they soulmates hiding behind microphones? Loretta's husband, Oliver Doolittle Lynn, was notoriously jealous, and Conway's relationships never seemed to last long when Loretta was in the picture. Insiders claimed that behind the curtain, Doolittle confronted Conway more than once, demanding he keep his distance. Yet, no matter the tension, the two stars always found their way back to each other on stage. When Conway Twitty passed away in 1993, the country music world lost one of its greatest voices. Loretta was devastated. At his funeral, she could barely speak. With tears in her eyes, she said, "I've never had another duet partner like Conway, and I never will." Her heartbreak was evident, like a widow mourning not just a friend, but something more profound. Years later, during an unearthed interview that resurfaced after his passing, Conway Twitty's final words about Loretta Lynn shed new light on their mysterious bond. "Loretta was my best friend in this business," he confessed. "She understood me like no one else ever did. People always thought there was more to it, but what we had was beyond romance. It was love, but not the kind you think." That confession struck a chord with fans everywhere. It wasn't a denial, it was an admission that their relationship existed on a level deeper than physical affection. For Conway, Loretta was not just a duet partner, she was his muse, his confidant, and his emotional anchor in a cutthroat industry. And for Loretta, Conway represented the safe haven she rarely found in her turbulent personal life. Loretta's marriage to Doolittle was far from perfect. She often spoke openly about his infidelity, drinking, and temper. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Yet she also expressed that she loved him until the end. Still, there were moments when she turned to Conway for emotional support. In her memoir, Loretta admitted, "Conway was the kind of man who listened. He didn't judge me, he just understood." She never confirmed an affair, but her words painted a picture of a love story written in the spaces between the verses. For those who worked closely with them, the truth was plain as day. Backup singers, producers, and tour members often spoke about the pair's unbreakable bond. "When they were together, it was like the rest of us disappeared," one musician said. "You could tell they cared about each other in ways they didn't need to say out loud. Even on television appearances, their affection was impossible to ignore. They teased each other like old lovers, laughed at inside jokes, and shared moments of warmth that seemed almost too intimate for the cameras." When asked about their connection, Loretta often deflected with humor, saying, "Me and Conway? We'd kill each other if we ever got together." But years later, her tone shifted. In one of her last interviews before her passing, she reflected on their relationship with a tender smile. "Conway was my soulmate in music. We had something special, something that doesn't happen twice in a lifetime." That statement, simple yet powerful, reignited decades-old rumors once again. Many fans believe Loretta's words were her way of admitting what Conway had already hinted before his death, that their love was real, even if it never became physical. After Conway's passing, Loretta struggled deeply. She continued performing, but her duets without him never felt the same. She often paid tribute to him on stage, her voice trembling as she sang "Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man." Audiences could feel her grief, her longing, and the deep void his absence left behind. Friends of Loretta say that even years later, she would still talk about him as if he were standing right beside her. "I still hear him sometimes," she once told a close friend. "When I walk on stage, I feel him right there, singing along with me." In the decades since Conway's death, the story of their bond has become one of country music's most touching mysteries. Some believe they were lovers who kept their secret to protect their careers. Others think they shared a spiritual connection that went beyond romance, a partnership based on respect, trust, and mutual inspiration. Whatever the truth, what can't be denied is the legacy they built together. Their duets defined an era of country music that celebrated storytelling, passion, and authenticity. Their voices, when joined, created something timeless, a sound that still sends shivers down the spine of anyone who listens. Behind the fame, both Conway and Loretta faced their own tragedies. Conway's untimely death at just 59 cut short a career that could have lasted decades longer. Loretta endured the loss of her husband, her children, and countless friends, but she always carried Conway's memory with her. Even in her later years, she would post about him, call him her singing partner forever, and keep a photo of the two of them in her living room. When Loretta passed away in 2022, fans couldn't help but imagine the reunion that might have taken place beyond the stage of life, the two country legends, side by side again, singing under heavenly lights. Their connection, mysterious and eternal, became the stuff of country folklore. Music historians continue to revisit their relationship, analyzing every lyric, every interview, every lingering look. Songs like "You're the Reason Our Kids Are Ugly" and "Feelin's" seem to tell a deeper story, one only they could truly understand. When Conway said before his death that what he and Loretta shared was beyond romance, it wasn't a dismissal of love, it was a redefinition. It was love stripped of selfishness, fame, and temptation. It was the rare kind of connection that could endure even death itself. Perhaps that's why, 30 years later, the world still talks about them, not as two artists, but as two souls bound by something larger than life. Fans continue to find comfort in their music, hearing in every note the echoes of a love story that never needed to be confessed to be real. In the end, maybe Conway's confession wasn't about setting the record straight, it was about honoring a truth that couldn't stay hidden forever. He loved Loretta Lynn in the purest way possible, and she loved him back in her own way. Their bond wasn't defined by the rumors that surrounded them, but by the music they left behind. Today, when fans play their duets, they don't just hear two voices, they hear two hearts that beat in harmony, two legends who found in each other what so few ever do, a love that never needed words, only songs. And perhaps that's the real truth Conway Twitty wanted the world to know before he died, that behind every rumor was a friendship that transcended time, fame, and the boundaries of this world. A love not written in scandal, but sung in melody. A story that, like their voices, will never fade. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing.